These are 5 of the best things ever invented by Canadians. First on the list is insulin, and although Canadians did invent this life-saving drug, we definitely didn't invent the ridiculously high prices for it in the United States. Not sure what's going on there, bud, but that ain't right. Second is the trash bag, and that's right, little did everyone know, but Canada actually invented Jeff Bezos. Instant replay was also invented by Canadians, and it makes sense that Canadians invented instant replay because usually we get so tilted when we're watching sports games that we immediately forget what we literally just saw a couple seconds ago. Number 4 is the telephone. Old Alexander Graham Bell here invented the very first telephone and is still absolutely fucking Canadians nearly 100 years after his death, thanks to the ridiculously high prices and dog shit customer service offered by Bell Canada. And last on the list, basketball was invented in 1891 by Canadian James Naismith. I probably butchered his name, but he's dead, so who gives a shit. Since its invention, the United States has become dominantly the best country in the world at this sport. Or, as the Olympics have shown us, at least the best at flopping. Now, there are still a ton more Canadian inventions.
If you ever think you don't hate capitalism enough, just remember, this man discovered insulin and sold the patent for $1, saying, insulin doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the world. Yet over 1 million Americans have to ration their insulin, risking their life by doing so because of its high price and inequitable access, all in the name of Big Pharma's profit margins.
Yeah, hello family, welcome back again to my channel, and I hope you're doing well. I myself am doing great, and thank you. So, if you're watching me for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel, because here is where we break down the real truth, which most of the people are very afraid to talk about. So folks, without wasting much time, let me talk about this today. There are moments in history when a country doesn't just make an invention. It gives the world a reason to believe in humanity. And Canada has one of those stories. Trust me, a story about compassion, a story about science, a story about people who discovered something that will save millions, I said millions, of lives, and chose not to treat it like a personal fortune. They chose humanity. Simply, they chose to help people voluntarily. They chose to give the world a chance. And the story of today, folks, is called insulin. I know you have heard of that. So today, I want to take a moment to appreciate Canada very, very much on behalf of everybody. Not just for what it invented, but for the spirit behind one of the greatest medical breakthroughs in history. Because sometimes Canada doesn't shout about what it has done. It simply does it, and the world benefits. So a big shout out to Canadians, because you are the best people. You are the best. So without wasting much time, I've prepared you for some videos which will appreciate the invention of insulin by the Canadian people. So folks, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we'll meet after this video so that we can talk about how Canadian people are making all of us proud. Let's get after it.
People are dying because they can't afford a medicine that costs $5 to make. Insulin was discovered in 1921. The investors sold the patent for $1 because they wanted everyone to have it. 100 years later, Americans pay up to $300 a vial. 1 in 4 insulin users skip doses because of the cost. And we know that people die from this, right? Diabetic ketoacidosis and organ failure. Same story with rescue inhalers for asthma. The Inflation Reduction Act capped insulin at $35 a month, but only for people on Medicare. So if you have private insurance or employer insurance or no insurance at all, you're on your own. This cap should be extended to everyone. I think this is the easiest healthcare fix in America, and we're just not doing it. Diabetics shouldn't die because they're poor.
Insulin was discovered in Canada. A Canadian scientist named Frederick Benting sold the patents to the University of Toronto for $1 each. He said, insulin belongs to the world. And
Did you know that Canadians made some of the biggest inventions and breakthroughs that literally changed the world? Here's 8 of them. Number 1. Light bulb. Yes, it was invented by a Canadian named Henry Woodward in 1874. He sold a patent to Thomas Edison. Edison was not the inventor, but the person that commercialized the product. Number 2. Basketball. This one is often thought to be American, but it was actually invented by an Ontario man. Number 3. Walkie-talkie. This communication device is still widely used globally. Number 4. Canadarm. As the name suggests, it's the robotic arm used by astronauts to move cargoes and build a space station. How cool is that? Number 5. Snowmobile. I think this one comes as no surprise to anyone. Number 6. Electric wheelchair. This invention is a game changer for paraplegic people all around the world. Number 7. Standard time zone. Yes, the time zones were conceptualized and set up by a Canadian engineer. And number 8. Insulin. It was invented by 2 Canadian scientists in 1921. Since then, it saved millions of people living with diabetes. Insulin is one of the biggest medical breakthroughs, a true gift Canada has given to the world. So, as you see, from technology to sports, space exploration to healthcare, Canadians play a major role in shaping our current world today. So let's spread the word about these amazing achievements.
We keep asking, are you okay, America? But those of us born after 1965 know the answer. Never forget that the inventors of insulin thought profiting off of it would be unethical and sold the patent for a single dollar. Why isn't anyone having kids? He wondered as home prices rise 20% a year, childcare costs the same as rent, paid parental leave is non-existent, family health care costs $20,000 a year, and college debt averages $30,000. Guess it's just one of those weird, unexplainable trends. After seeing young people organize protests, turn out in the streets, get gassed and shot with rubber bullets, and then come back for more, I kind of never want to hear about lazy and entitled young people again, especially from anyone who bellyached about having to wear a mask. The fact that $1,000 is not really a lot of money but could literally change someone's life right now is evidence enough of a wealth disparity in this nation. You won't be a Democrat when you're older. Yeah, you're right. I'm a communist now. Forever wondering if I'm truly far left or if I'm just an empathetic person living in a late capitalist hellscape where I get called a commie for saying, hey, maybe poor people don't deserve to starve.
The individuals who invented insulin sold the patent for only $1, and they were very explicit about why they did this. One of the inventors said, insulin belongs to the world, not to me. They didn't want anyone to die because they couldn't afford what they had created. Yet that is exactly what happens in the US today. Don't believe the lie that innovation can only come from people that are trying to make a profit.
Insulin is a privilege, not a right. Oh, you absolute bastard, you. Let me just explain why I think you're a bastard. Because in 1921, 3 doctors, Dr. Frederick Banting, Charles Best, James Collip, managed to isolate insulin at the University of Toronto, which pretty much overnight would save hundreds of millions of lives. Got a patent for it in 1923, but they sold that patent to the university for $1 each because they believed, the people who found insulin, that it belonged to humanity, not to one person. Dr. Banting actually said, insulin does not belong to me, it belongs to the world. His aim was to make it affordable and accessible to everyone. Now, people like you and the Americans are trying to profit off of it. This isn't humanity.
So folks, welcome back again to the channel, and let me take you through this. In the early 1920s, diabetes was a terrifying diagnosis. We all know that. For countless families, there was a little hope, very little hope. And then comes Toronto. A Canadian researcher became part of the breakthrough that will transform medicine forever. You know his name, Frederick Banting, and Charles Best, working alongside John Macleod and James Collip, helped develop insulin as a treatment for diabetes. Think about that for a moment. People were dying. Lives are being lost. Millions of lives are being lost. But big up to Canada, the best of the best country in the world. A Canadian-led medical breakthrough that will go on to change the lives of millions upon millions of people around the world. Children, parents, grandparents, the entire family. Lives that might have been cut short were suddenly given another chance to live. Thanks for the Canadian people. And what makes this story even more remarkable is what happened with the patient. The patient was sold to the University of Toronto for just, imagine, $1. $1. And the message was bigger than money. The discovery was meant to benefit humanity. And honestly, how can you not appreciate that? This is one of those moments in history where Canada deserves to stand tall. Because Canada wasn't simply contributing to medicine, Canada itself was contributing to humanity itself. And this is what I think makes the Canadian story so special. Canada has often been associated with kindness, compassion, and a willingness to help. And whether you are a Canadian or you are simply someone who appreciates human progress, the insulin story gives you another reason to look at Canada with a lot of admiration. Because when you think about the greatest medicine breakthrough in history, you don't think about laboratories and scientific papers. You think about people, real people, people who wanted to solve a problem that was destroying families, people who believed that as a discovery was capable of saving lives should reach the people who needed it. That's a legacy worth celebrating. That's a legacy worth remembering. And that is a legacy that should make Canadians very, very proud. Let's talk about the prize. The prize controversy falls. This has really touched my heart. But then we come to the uncomfortable part of the story. Because today insulin pricing, particularly in the United States, sorry to say this, has become a major controversy. Many Americans have struggled with the high cost of insulin and other diabetes related healthcare expenses. And let's be clear here, folks. I told you this channel is always talking about people who are very fearful to talk about it. This isn't about blaming ordinary Americans. I'm not blaming anyone. What I'm saying is millions of Americans themselves have criticized the system and fought for more affordable access to insulin, which previously was invented and was to cost $1. So the real question is for today, folks. The real question of today is how alive is about how as life-saving medicine can become so expensive for the very people who depend on it. And that's where the contrast becomes difficult to ignore. The people behind the original breakthrough were thinking about saving lives. But over the decades, the businesses surrounding insulin became enormously complicated. Manufacturers, pharmaceutical companies, insurance system, pharmacists, benefit managers, healthcare policies. All of those factors have played a role in the modern pricing debate. And yet, folks, the original story remains. A Canadian medicine breakthrough, a patient sold for $1, and a discovery that was never supposed to be about personal wealth. And it's a world that continues to depend on it. So, folks, let me say this for today. The next time someone asks you what Canada has given the world, don't just talk about beautiful landscape, beautiful mountains, the kindness. Just talk about. Don't talk about the hockey. Don't just talk about the maple syrup. Talk about the lives that were saved. Millions of families were saved. Talk about the science. Talk about the compassion. Talk about the insulin. Because behind that single word, false. Behind that simple words, lives were saved. Many lives were saved. Many lives were saved. Let me say that because Canada are the best. I won't say much for today. Canada are the best people. They are the best. And they deserve to be appreciated. So folks, until next time folks, we'll meet again in the next episode. Like, comment my video and say what you think about the Canadian invention of insulin. Until next time, may God bless Canada.